Hi all, so my name is James Harvey from Students Against Tyranny, and today I intend to talk to you about the cashless society and how it will negatively impact students. Here's the thing, it doesn't just affect students, it affects everyone. The elderly who don't have access to the internet and can't use mobile phones, the homeless who need to ask others for cash in order to survive, or even the average, ordinary, working class citizen who is typically in debt to the banks either through mortgages or loans or whatever. And say you're one day late for a payment, what's stopping the banks from freezing all your digital currency? How are you going to buy food? I believe all these questions are overlooked and then exacerbated by the fact that nearly every single student uses their cards over cash on the basis that it's easier. This is how lazy the world has become, and the youth, namely students, have been indoctrinated to behave. New technology constantly being unveiled, which makes everything we do, quote-unquote, more efficient. Queues upon queues as people line up for the slightly better iPhone. But simultaneously, this efficiency makes us more lazy and completely dependent on the system, so that we no longer can survive on our own. We look to the government to provide us with money. We look to the media to provide us with an opinion. We look to our Instagram likes and comments to tell us how we should feel about ourselves, when instead we should be focused on politics and how it affects our liberty, privacy, money and sovereignty. To all the students out there who are watching me on their smartphone while they complain about capitalism, overall, it may be easier and quicker to tap your card now, but what would happen if a dictator all of a sudden decides to freeze your life savings over a political indifference? They did this in Lebanon and China. Or if the government decides that you spend enough money on oil for the month due to your impact on the environment and carbon emissions, but you need your car for work, or when you spend too much money on a night out that you can't get home. See, cash has an intrinsic and emotional value. You can see how much you spend, whereas via card, it's much easier to spend more, and in some cases, too much. Is it really worth you giving up the last of your freedom for a few seconds of efficiency? To those who answered that question by saying yes, I'm sure that's how everyone would have felt in China before they implemented the social credit system. And I can already hear people saying in my ears, they won't do that here. Again, isn't that what the people of China would have thought? You see, those of us who can see through their lies and see the dangerous path we are heading down are neurodivergent. We're different, and it's good to be different. Why do you want to be the same as everyone else? It's boring. What makes us unique is what makes us human. The ability to ask questions and critically think, which many students over the recent years have been lacking, is vital to ensuring that humankind stays free. When you finish uni, you want to get a house, right? And a job, and support a family. Do you really want to bring kids into a world where you have no control over your own money? Where the government tells you you'll only be allowed access to your savings under certain conditions, with some of those conditions being based entirely around your carbon footprint, which are entirely orientated around fabricated, non-proven theories of climate change. Again, it's just a theory, but they state it as a fact. One time when I was travelling to Scotland to film for my documentary, The True Pandemic, we stopped at the service station and I saw a sign from HSBC. And it stood out to me, it said, when an abuser controls your finances, they control you. They say this, but then expect us to be okay with the notoriously corrupt banks and government to be